Yeah, let's kick it off.
Yeah.
Evening, guys. Welcome
Good
again
evening.
to another Lockdown Live chat. Tonight, we're actually joined with very special guests. Little salute to you guys on this Sunday. Tonight, we're joined with our newest MMD Black signings, a brutal tech death band that you guys may or may not know from a little town called Durban. This is Imperious Vision. As you guys can see, we went all out and we actually managed to get the entire band here. So this is something really epic. So greetings, number one, to Brynn, the drummer. Give a little devil horns so peeps can see. Next, we got Kai, guitarist. There we go.
Hello.
And we have Nick, vocal defilings. And we have other guitarist Blake. What's up, guys?
What's
Welcome.
up?
Hello, other guitarists.
As usual. Yeah, you know what I mean. As usual, joined with my awesome co-host, Alec of Draconem, Certus, and all the other projects. How's it going, Alec?
Oh, good, man. Just had a hectic work week, but that's all good. Now I can talk
It's getting
metal.
back to normal. Yeah,
You're crazy
the world's
Yeah.
it's mental. Well, I guess kind of like delving into the meat and potatoes, we ask all of our guests this. Don't know who will answer it, but how's lockdown been in the Imperious Vision camp? How's this whole COVID thing been out in Durban?
Wow. Yeah, we haven't practiced physically for quite a while, so we've been managing to distract ourselves by making an album, which was quite fun. We're happy to have gotten that out. Seeing as we couldn't practice, we just put all of our time and energy into just trying to make something. We've obviously been working on it for a while, and this was actually kind of a good opportunity to, just go full tilt and get it done.
Yeah. Finish it off.
Yeah. So Brynn worked many long nights helping us out, getting everything going.
And so he should.
That's so.
Drummer always has to work harder.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, I guess let's kind of delve deep into the genesis of the band, and who better than the vocal defilings of Nick. Nick, tell us a little bit about the genesis of Imperious Vision. How did you guys start? How'd this all become a reality?
Oh, it's pretty much a normal story, man. A couple of mates get together, start jamming, and it just, it's, what can I say, progresses from there, you know? It starts off a fun jam thing and then just progresses into something good. Well, we hope it's good.
So far, so good.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
My first question goes to Kai. What tuning do you guys play in? Like, what kind of gear are you using, like, specifically for this album?
Good old chunky drop A, which is quite nice. It's a decent middle ground. Well, not middle ground. It's nice and heavy, but you can still, get some nice leads in there if you want. And even on the low end, like our one song, Vociferous Digression, like the main riff is like right on the first couple of frets, and it sounds fantastic, in my opinion. With regards to gear and recording, that's actually Brynn's whole setup. So I don't know if Brynn, you want to answer that.
Well, yeah, look, in terms of the recording, I don't remember, I think Blake used his Ibanez 5-string bass, and then I actually ended up doing... Yeah, that's right. Very beautiful Ibanez bass that we got some really sick tones out of. And then I actually do the guitars on this particular recording. Blake did the bass. I used my Dean Vendetta 4 with, I think it's a two DiMarzio pickups. It's a S2N, S2N and a super distortion, like the same Chuck Schuldiner used. Really like the neck profile, 24 frets, just really beautiful guitar. And then I think Kai used
Kelly.
The Jackson Kelly, yeah, that's right. So we actually used 6-string.
Little 6-string.
Yeah, 6-string setups for this, and yeah, that's kind of what we used in terms of there. And then yeah, a lot of the stuff that we used, in terms of the softwares, we used Amplitude 3, and then I just used some custom presets and that kind of stuff, and sorted that stuff out. So just some of those VSTs, and then we used Addictive Drums as well, the original version. And then I took a preset and I pretty much reworked it and balanced it, changed out the cymbal setup. And then, yeah, just with the vocal side, we just used a Rode NT1 condenser mic, which is a nice sort of, I always think it's really good for metal. I've used it for years. So yeah, that's pretty much what we use my home setup. And then, yeah, drums were recorded using my Roland TD9. And then obviously into Addictive Drums, and then everything was sorted out like that. And that's pretty much the way the recording came together. So, yeah.
Sick.
Well, I guess kind of just leading on and keeping you in the conversation, Brynn, because we're not done with talking about Empire of Illusion. And
yes.
So we shouldn't be, because it was sent to a few of our colleagues at MMD Black. Victor of Thread of Omen wondered if there was an Hour of Penance influence, because the production was dense and very thick and chunky on the low end.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you can maybe go into a little bit of detail, because obviously this is a full-fledged album. How was the process in recording everything? Did you have any hiccups?
We certainly did.
Were there any holdups?
We certainly did have our stuff. It wasn't exactly this album nearly didn't happen. More members, just trying to get traction there. And we had a bass player who was part of the band for a while, and then when it came to recording, he didn't know a single bass line somehow, which kind of flabbergasted and sort of like amazed us. We've had a few unfortunate incidents with past members, and it's just the way it goes, I suppose. So pretty much when it came to finishing the album, we probably recorded our first track, Heros, which was like our flagship track for a while back in 2018, and we released it via another producer, but we kind of decided to go a different route. Obviously the sort of the self-production thing, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, self-produced. And then probably toward the end of 2019, we really got stuck into it. And then we must have probably finished we finished about 6 songs in time in about 3 months. We just gave it horns and just kept recording every night, and we try to keep the momentum up. And then, we did have a member, but, he left just before we were sort of going to finish mixing and mastering the album. So, we kind of thought about it, and we thought about the process, and then I sort of decided that, I would rework a lot of the guitar parts, the rhythm sections, and the solos and stuff. I re-recorded a lot of that in the period of about May, June, and then, really got into the mixing and mastering, sat for 3 weeks straight, and just every day, every night, looking at tutorials, working really hard, talking to the guys, sending them mix and master after mix and master, and debating what sounded good. And then in terms of, references for the production, there is definitely an Hour of Penance vibe. There's that extreme metal sort of vibe, more the North American and European kind of sound. And I reckon Mick Gordon type sounds, and other bands like Saprogenic and Cattle Decapitation, kind of looking at that philosophically in terms of, and then I kind of, for me, albums you kind of feel more, and others you hear more. So your fetuses are kind of more toward the middle range and that kind of stuff, like Dire Fetus, I mean. Whereas stuff like, Cattle Decapitation's not Monolith of Enmity, it's the 2015 one, and Robert Extinction. For me, that was very, very ballsy, low-endy, in many ways, everything sort of blends together, and there's this so I kind of wanted to find a nice balance in terms of the tech deck sound. I don't like it when it gets a bit too thin and wispy. It's very, very crisp, but it loses a lot of punch. And then even for me, just with a lot of productions, you know, it's too much on the heavy side, and you just lose that, you know, that all those one bits of color. So I think for me, Empire of Illusion was kind of trying to look at those two extremes and find some middle ground.
Sweet. Blake,
What's up?
is it correct that then you recorded the bass, right, for this album?
Yeah, so yeah, I was playing bass from about late 2017 in the band. So during the whole recording process, I was playing bass, but when our past member left, we all just decided that I'll move on to guitar instead, and we'll sort out a bassist when we can play again after obviously Corona and everything. So yeah.
No, that's cool. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
With like a drop A tuning, and like I play in a couple of bands that use like drop A. Do you guys think that you actually need a bassist live? Like, are you worried about it sounding less
Definitely
ballsy?
I mean, yeah, that is like one thing I think that we go for is like that tight, as you say, ballsy sound.
Yeah,
You know, like,
you need to really feel the music.
Like, I think we'd like to have a bass player. I mean, you know, in many ways, Blake brings a particular personality to the band, and there's some little moments for the bass that I always like to shine through in certain parts. Like on our recording, there's Ignatius. There's a little bass break there, where you know the bass sound is sort of driven through the guitar amps and stuff, and it just sounds really epic. And then basically, in even the best of us are scum, there's this little bass break that everybody always
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like
yeah, that's always very fun.
this is my
fantastic.
moment.
Yeah.
This is my moment. You know.
Yeah,
It's kind of
everyone's like, "Whoa,
like a sing.
bassist?"
Like, there's a guy there and he plays the bass.
Where'd he come
but-
from?
It also
Exactly.
depends who you have as a bassist. How well your bassist can play. Is he a basic bassist, or can the dude?
The basic bassist.
Basic
Yeah.
basis.
Yeah. Is it just simple stuff, or does he riff? Does he jam? Does he bring that extra to the band?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like,
Yeah, for sure.
That's pretty much it.
Sweet.
Well, I guess kind of, Nick, I guess I can direct this question to you. You have a very forward sound when it comes to the folks. Like it is harsh and it's visceral. I'm curious as to who your influences were and where you draw your inspiration from vocally.
Oh, that's a tough one, man. There's so many good vocalists. I mean, there's so many bands that I love in that. Back in the day, it was actually Eddie from All Shall Perish. I used to listen to a lot of them, although I sound nothing like him. You know, he was a big influence. He's one of them, and the rest, everybody else is. I mean, the dude from Hour of Penance, and just the list goes on, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess kind of delving into the influences that you guys have, there is quite a modern death feel to it. So, I mean, obviously paying a little bit of homage to the old school, but, you know, bringing that modern with it. So
Also an original sound. It's got to be
We
different.
hope, yeah.
Like when I vocal, for vocals, I don't want to sound like anybody else. It's got to be me. It's got to be different. Something that stands out.
were there a lot of vocal layerings that were used in the recording of Empire of Illusion? Was there anything that you had to put like 4 or 5 different layers of harmonics like over like in those mean like hooks in the before the main choruses before the
there was parts where Brynn and I decided as doing vocals equally together, not anything to fool me or to fool him, but as like an equal. Like there's parts where he does a high and I do a low. That was just, yeah, give it that extra oomph on the album. But live, it's all me.
It's all Nick Hagen.
oh, Nick.
Oh, Nick.
Face
Well-
for the band.
Yeah.
That's damn right. Well, I guess let's let's go and kind of delve to the other guitarist, Kai. You're kind of the, well, I guess one of the main outspoken like activists on social media for the band. Kind of a bit of a broader question for you. I mean, how important has it been during these times? I see bands like Devil's Speak and like yourselves at Imperious Vision, you guys share a lot of other bands' links on your Instagrams. You kind of try to keep the SA metal energy alive. It's not all just about the band itself. How important has it been, especially now, like during a time when nobody's really touring or performing, especially now that you guys have an album out? How's it been having to be so outspoken and so active on social media? Because I know it's something that a lot of bands don't.
Yeah, they don't. But no, I think right now, especially like this year in particular, it's extremely important that, like, you know, we all try and lift each other up, because, you know, there's been such a huge period of the year where artists, you know, whether it's theater or music or whatever, you basically can't perform. You can't, you know, do your craft. And for a lot of people, that's their livelihood. And like, you know, a lot of bands are really, really good, but they'll just not get known. So, you know, we should all just help each other out. Let's be friends. And it's not like, you know, Durban in particular has the biggest metal scene. So, you know, it'd be really great, like, if we can just get more people into it and more people sharing music, because I'm sure there's like some bands there that like haven't quite gotten out there yet, and even, you know, we don't know about. Despite it being a small town, you know. We just want to celebrate metal and, you know, bring like, it's kind of like we want to ride like the current wave of like metal that's coming out, because there are a couple of bands that are coming out and more bands that have also taken this opportunity this year to boost their online presence as well. And, you know, it's obviously a great time to write music, to record music, and, you know, we've just got to do it.
Yeah. Giving people something to listen to in tough times when you can't leave the house. Or not supposed to, at least. Well, I guess that kind of ties in with the question that I had with Blake, because you guys performed at Spawnfest. It might have been, I believe, the last concerts that
1
you guys
year ago.
had.
Yeah, it was about a year ago, like to the week almost.
31st of August, I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Just over a year ago. Wow. That's sad.
That was a very big lineup. I mean, you guys were amongst pretty much like some of the juggernauts of the local brutal death scene. So,
no, they're in some insane bands there. That was memorable. Spawnfest was very memorable.
Yeah, that was a great show.
Yeah, and it was definitely the biggest show we had ever played. Like we'd have a fairly close-ish second place show. Well, it was like maybe a third of the people or a quarter of the people. It was still a few, but Spawnfest just blew my mind. There were so many people, so many metalheads, so many bands. Just everyone was just like having a good time. And at any given moment, there was like a band playing. It was a dream come true.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, I mean, I guess that was what I was actually gonna ask Blake, because that was the whole thing. You guys played at this killer Joburg Fest, and then it's always the idea you have to go back to Durban. So, I mean, I'm curious.
We gotta go back to real life.
You don't want to,
now.
but we have
to. Durban. Go back to your hole.
Yeah.
They're like, come on, guys.
I'm curious. The current metal scene there. Are there any clubs in the Durban vicinity that are still hosting metal concerts like at all, or how's the scene been? Do you guys feel like lone wolves?
Since COVID or like before?
Obviously, before this whole shitstorm of a virus hit.
Yeah.
But I mean,
well, before COVID, we had. We did have the Winston. Well, we do have the Winston, but obviously because of COVID at the moment, there's no shows. And there's also one other event that happens in Shongweni it only happens like once a year or so, if I'm not mistaken.
Every blue moon.
Amazing.
That's Pit at the Polo, which is like I think the concert Kai was talking about, our close second.
Yeah, the second best one.
Yeah,
that one
that's like the biggest show we played in Durban. But yeah, there's not really many places in Durban at the moment.
No, there's almost nothing. You know, after Burn closed down years ago, you know, and then the Winston kind of halved in size because Origin moved in on top there. So pretty much all you've really got is the Winston, and even they've had to kind of change their approach, if you will, to, you know, appeal to a wider audience. So it's not really a rock, a metal and alternative club it used to be. And they kind of sort of came to a lot more genres.
I actually got booked for a Cytrod set at Origin, and I went there and I'm like, Jesus Christ, isn't this the Winston? I'm like, what the hell?
It is, yes, it is. It is.
Yeah, so yeah, it was a bit of a culture shock. I felt very much like, oh God, like what have I done? But I like perpetuate.
I
perpetuated the change.
How the mighty have fallen. Yeah, but in all seriousness, it's pretty much the Winston, and then the odd events. Really, in many ways, I think Durban has experienced. It's kind of always had for me, it's like a mix of small town and big city sensibilities. And I feel like over the years, it's got more and more small town as people are like, oh, well, you know, it's raining, so I can't go out, you know. Like but you know, what if I aquaplane next year, you know, and then I crash my car. And it's that sort of thing, like it's that mentality, you know, people don't really want to get out there and stuff. And I don't know, you know, when you're playing a niche genre like brutal metal or brutal death, tech death or whatever, you know, for a lot of people it just goes, you know, they kind of don't really get that, you know, they want something a little bit more palatable, you know, it's not so heavy, you know. So for me, we've actually most of the interest that's been generated has come from out of the province. A lot of people in Gauteng, Cape Town, well, MMD Records. And then, you know, obviously overseas as well with Slam Worldwide and stuff. So we found traction sort of outside of our province and abroad, which we're very happy about, and we kind of want to keep building on. Hence why Kai's been pushing the social media stuff, why we're keen to promote other bands, talk to other bands. We met some very cool people, which is very encouraging. And even every day when you hear someone just go, hey dude, your album is great, you guys are great, super nice guys, really cool album, that kind of stuff, then, you know, you just want to keep doing this stuff.
Yeah, let's make more.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I was actually really disappointed for the Durban scene that the Pit of the Polo was like cancelled this year. It was like just as
it was heartbreaking.
Oh, it was so close.
At
least the Dahlia show happened in Joburg, but
yeah, that happened like the day before.
Right before.
Just before, and we got home, and then they're like, okay, cool, lockdown.
Hectic,
yeah.
Dahlia.
One thing that's like super impressed me about you guys is that you've gotten promo on Slam Worldwide. And that's actually really good, because I know a lot of bands, and like I'm guilty of this myself, like you want to have your own YouTube channel, you want to plug your music, and then you get like 200 views in a year. Whereas you guys have leveraged a channel that I've also leveraged. And I think it's great that you guys have done that. I wanted to know who the brainchild that was, and if you could talk me through it.
Hello. Well, actually, I think it might have been Brynn's idea.
Well, it's pretty Kai and myself more than anyone else.
Yeah, we're the Brynns. We're trying to kind of
next
balance.
To face.
Yeah, face the brains.
Bread and butter of the band.
Blake is the legs.
Yeah.
Blake is the legs.
But yeah, we're kind of trying to balance, you know, having our stuff on other platforms as well as our own, because like you said, if, you know, you're just trying to make it exclusively your channel, right? Which can be great. It's just not necessarily everyone's going to find that, because, you know, especially with how brutal online algorithms like YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that are for discoverability, you know, we had to kind of find ways like, okay, where can we get stuff on bigger platforms so people can, you know, get directed back to our page, well, all our pages, and listen to our music. So trying to just balance it out.
I think a lot of people forget that there's still a way that even using a larger platform like Slam Worldwide or Black Media, Black Metal Media on YouTube, there's still a way for bands to monetize from that. So that's the thing. It really is a win-win for any other bands that are tuning in and checking this out. Definitely invest in a larger platform. It's the ultimate way. You'll get international critique. I think a lot of people
that's one of our favorite things. Yeah, I know. If we go and look on the sorry.
No, I was going to say that that must be the most validating thing for a band, is being able to get the international critique that
I think Carl was actually about to say that.
Yeah, I know. So, like if we go and, you know, I know Brynn's also been checking out, but like every now and again we'll go and like look at the Slam Worldwide videos, and then we see like comments in like completely different languages, but they put the little flaming emoji, and it's like, oh, they like it. I don't know what you said, but
Google Translate is your friend.
Yeah.
What did this guy say in Spanish or Cyrillic? It's like,
oh yeah, just like a whole paragraph. Yeah, no, it's been awesome.
Well, I guess kind of when the dust settles after all of this, I guess this is a nice broad question to ask all of you guys. What are the songs that you guys are most looking forward to actually performing live? I mean, now that you guys have a whole album, just started getting back
so
to the
many
band
choices.
I think it's Empire of Illusion would be good, because we've actually never played it as a band. We wrote
never
it,
been played live.
We recorded it live.
Yeah, we always love. We also love playing Before the Dawn. I always love playing that one live.
Yeah,
that's an old favorite.
It's a very fun song to play.
People don't know how to hit bangs, so it's weird.
Yeah.
When you guys actually go and submit a lyric video to like Slam Worldwide, what were the thoughts behind going with Before the Dawn and Ignatius? What were why those two tracks? Curious about that.
Do you want to answer, Nick, or should I answer this one?
Yeah.
All of us were like,
random.
I know the answer.
Okay, Kyle wants to answer. He wants to answer.
Well, yeah, go on, Blake.
Well, those are our favorites.
It's our
your favorite thing.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
Yours, nice.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm sure you guys are going to be looking into getting a bit of a new aesthetic going for the next performance. So once all this COVID dust settles, what can people expect from the Imperious Vision crew? And I'll direct that to Nick.
Faster, heavier, darker.
Faster, heavier, darker. We'll be going 3,000 BPM instead of just 2,000.
A measly 300.
The next album is just going to sound like this.
Let me know that Brynn is not in charge of the next album.
Swak.
Yeah, dibs.
Sweet, guys. I think it's to wrap us up. Do you guys have any like closing thoughts? Are you working on new material now that you've got this album out? Have you started a new album?
Funny you should say that.
Yeah. We are in the process of writing our follow-up release. So we've actually got about 2 songs in the pipeline that we kind of want to write and record as the new sort of setup, and then one of us will do the bass because we're all very good at playing the bass.
I think each of us should just take a bass track.
unless we find a young enthusiastic new guy to come in and do it for us, and he knows how to read bass tabs and he can play the bass.
And listen to what we say.
Yes, and if he does everything we tell him and doesn't have a personality of his own, he's a robot and he can program, and that would be perfect. But yeah, in all seriousness though, we do have plans for a follow-up release of the Empire of Illusion. We've been very happy with this. We do have some more stuff that we are going to be doing with Empire of Illusion. But
absolutely.
yeah, that will be, we'll be releasing some more stuff next month, and then maybe even a playthrough or two. So yeah.
Yeah, don't want to spoil anything, but it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be real good,
yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll hopefully be having a whole bunch of your guys' gear available on the Draconem Media Teesprings account soon for all of our international fans to be able to get your guys' gear. In the meantime, we'll include links to your guys' albums and Bandcamps for everybody to hear Empire of Illusion. I believe it's going for like $7 or $8, which is like not even a round of drinks for your mates. So damn well support local guys, like damn it. And yeah, again, thanks so much for joining, guys. It's awesome to kind of put faces to the name. So
you too.
Beautiful faces, beautiful, memorable faces.
Yeah, look at these guys.
Metal faces. Yeah. Well, yeah, we're gonna all be watching. You guys just keep blasting out the new music, and we'll be listening. And yeah, we'll be keeping everybody posted on new links and all of that. And yeah, Alec, thanks again for doing this, pulling this off. I think we managed. This was a hectic one, but we needed something special. So yeah.
Yeah, thanks dudes. Much appreciated.
Sweet.
Thanks guys.
Thanks again, everyone that tuned in. Next week, we're going to be joined with Abaddon, Vian, and Marco to talk about their next upcoming album that will be coming out at the end of, I believe, October. So, yeah, we'll stay tuned for that. And again, keep safe, keep that social distancing going, and keep rocking.
Peace out.
Awesome. Cheers, dudes.
Cheers.
Keep well, guys.